A dangerous precedent is being set. Under the guise of tackling discrimination, the government is moving forward with a plan that critics warn could become a Trojan horse for silencing free speech. Behind closed doors, ministers are crafting policies that may shield one religion from scrutiny while eroding the fundamental right to express dissent. In today's video, we will be unpacking Angela Rayner's latest plan, whilst also going over some of the latest headlines from across the country. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and join our fast-growing community. Just a quick one to say we do have new One Keir t-shirts available on our website. Go to britishstand.com or check the link in the description. Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner is set to establish a council on Islamophobia, aimed at developing an official definition of the term and advising ministers on how best to tackle anti-Muslim discrimination. The initiative is expected to shape government policy on addressing Islamophobia in the UK, though it has already sparked controversy over potential implications for free speech. According to a report in The Telegraph, the 16-member council will function within Rayner's Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government, MHCLG. Former Conservative Attorney General Dominic Grieve has been recommended to chair the body, given his prior work in combating anti-Muslim hate. Grieve, who has been a prominent figure in discussions on Islamophobia, previously chaired the Citizens UK Commission on Islam, a group dedicated to fostering dialogue between Muslim and non-Muslim communities. He also wrote the foreword to a 2018 all-party parliamentary group report that defined Islamophobia as a type of racism that targets expressions of Muslimness or perceived Muslimness, a definition that the Labour Party subsequently adopted. However, this definition remains highly contentious. Critics argue that it is overly broad and risks curbing free speech, effectively functioning as a blasphemy law that shields Islam from legitimate critique. Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick has been particularly vocal in his opposition, urging the government to abandon what he described as a deeply flawed definition. Of course, we should tackle anti-Muslim hate wherever it occurs, Jenrick said. But this definition is a Trojan horse for a blasphemy law protecting Islam. Why do Labour MPs think it is acceptable to mock Christianity but not Islam? Time and again, this Labour government displays an Orwellian disregard for freedom of speech. Despite these concerns, Grieve himself has previously expressed support for the APPG report, stating in his foreword that it makes an important contribution to the debate as to how Islamophobia can best be addressed, and that it is well researched with the potential to inspire positive action. When asked by The Telegraph about his potential role on Rayner's council, Grieve said he had not yet received a formal approach from MHCLG. However, he did not rule out taking part, stating, "If I can be of assistance in doing something constructive requested by any government on a non-party political basis, I am willing to consider it. It depends on what it is and whether I can add value and help the wider public service." It was apparent at the time that defining Islamophobia is extremely difficult for perfectly valid reasons relating to freedom of expression. Nonetheless, he acknowledged that perfectly law-abiding Muslims going about their business and well integrated into society are suffering discrimination and abuse, a reality that policymakers must address. Alongside the Islamophobia Council, Rayner is reportedly considering the creation of a separate advisory body on anti-Semitism. However, this has raised concerns within the Jewish community, with some questioning whether another such body is necessary. Paul Stott, co-author of a recent policy exchange report on extremism, warned that the government appeared to be giving off worrying vibes about its willingness to impose restrictions on blasphemy and to adopt a definition of Islamophobia that could stifle free speech. If so, that is terrible news for freedom of speech, he added. In response to the debate, an MHCLG spokesperson reaffirmed the government's commitment to tackling all forms of hate. All forms of religious and racial hatred have absolutely no place in our society. The government engages regularly with faith communities to help foster strong working relationships, and we are actively exploring a more integrated and cohesive approach to tackling racial and religious hatred, including Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. Further details of this work will be set out shortly. As the debate over the proposed council unfolds, questions remain about how it will navigate the balance between combating discrimination and protecting free expression, an issue that continues to divide opinion across the political spectrum. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. In other news, Reform UK is a serious political force whose recent polling surge would end with Nigel Farage as Prime Minister, far-left activists have admitted. In an email to supporters after yesterday's landmark YouGov poll, which saw Reform soar to standalone first place, campaign group Hope Not Hate has warned that Farage's party is positioning itself as a serious political force. The group also conducted its own MRP polling, which translates nationwide voting intention into an estimate of seat counts per party. It found that the party could be just 3% away from placing 169 MPs in the Commons. The message reads, "When I got the results back from our latest polling, I'll be honest, I felt a real sense of alarm. We knew that Reform UK was gaining ground, but we didn't realise just how far they'd come." In a slapdown of Kemi Badenoch's remarks on Friday, the group added that this is no longer a protest vote or a passing trend. Reform UK is positioning itself as a serious political force. We cannot afford to underestimate this threat, supporters are told. If their surge continues, this ends with Nigel Farage in Downing Street, this would be a disaster. Hope Not Hate also claims that the party is far right, scapegoats asylum seekers and Muslims, and champions policies rooted in hate. And in a last-ditch rallying call to try and push back against reform, the email warns that the party is accelerating and building a ruthless campaign machine behind the scenes. It's not just reform on the rise. Personal polling has handed Nigel Farage a higher favourability rating than his Labour and Tory counterparts. Though all three still see their approval ratings at below zero, Farage's net favourability rating sits at -27, with Kemi Badenoch at -29 and Sir Keir Starmer now at -36%. Reacting to today's polling, Reform UK's chief whip, Lee Anderson, told GB News, "The People's Army is growing as each day passes. Our conferences are sold out within 24 hours and our membership is approaching 200,000 and we've only just started. Reform UK will rescue this country from the Labour and Conservative parties and give the people a real voice in Parliament. We will take our country back." Lastly, Princess Kate shares a theme of being surrounded by nature with King Charles, as she adopts a new approach to her poses, according to a body language expert. Yesterday, the Princess of Wales released a photo taken by Prince Louis earlier this year in Windsor grounds to mark World Cancer Day on Tuesday. The photo depicted Kate in a woodland, a theme that body language Judy James suggests is where the royal draws her strength from. The Princess of Wales has repeatedly emphasised that spending time in nature during her own cancer journey has been extremely important for her physical and mental health. James said, "Kate retains the theme she has used since her illness was first diagnosed of being surrounded by woodland and nature. She seems to imply this is where she draws her strength from, and she shares this trait with King Charles. We saw her previous update videos where she was alone in the woods, adopting more reflective poses. But this one looks very much like an I'm back, start of a return." What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.